In.
Oh. What is this for?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of TNO. Paul, you can finish with the O. Let's hear the O. Come on.
Oh!
Yes, guys. As you can see, we've got Paul. Paul's in the house. I mean, it was an interesting exit that he had yesterday evening, but now he's in this house. You know, from one good house to a better house. I think my house is a lot friendlier, Paul. What do you think?
Yes. No. I definitely think so. I mean, I like the Jack Sparrow backdrop there. You know, it looks actually pretty cool.
Look carefully, but look carefully, Paul. Look whose face that is.
That's you. That is you. Claudia, is that you?
No, that's Nico, bro. You've spent enough time on the island with him. You should recognize.
That's not Nico, but there's no way that's it.
No, it isn't. Paul, tell me, dude, how was your day today? You've been busy.
Hey, man, yeah, look, dude, I've been so busy running around answering interviews. Just got back from 90.7, then we had another one. With guys in New Zealand, actually really nice.
Nice.
Which is really nice. So I've literally just been up and down, you know, just managing all these interviews. It's been quite crazy. Like the days has gone by like this.
Yeah,
you know?
hopefully the evening can get better. And also a little shout out to the guys that you just had the show with. I think they're called Slaying the Dragon. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's Slaying the Dragon. Yes. Shout out to them because it was actually a really cool interview. Like outside of that, one of the guys, Jack, he actually did his research and he's like, "Hey man, you know, so I see you like Burning Man and all of this, and you know, who would you take, Nico, Russell Brand, or like someone else?" And I'm like, "What? I didn't prepare for that."
Well, I got to thank Jack for bringing some of his content onto my show. Thanks, Jack. I'll do that research as well. So, Burning Man, have you gone to Africa Burn?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I mean, I actually wanted to go last year. Like, I would have loved to have gone last year because we planned everything. I said, "Dog, we got smart cars, we got camps, everything's sorted. I got all my outfits sorted. I'm ready to go, dog. Put me in the dust."
Well, I guess it wasn't too bad for you because your outfits come through on Survivor. Then at least you planned for another adventure, just not quite Africa Burn.
Yes, no, yeah, 100%. People were as accepting on Survivor as they would be on Africa Burn, you know.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I suppose you're still burning shit, but maybe not burning the same shit together. Maybe that's a bit of the issue there. But yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about. Unless you want to say, what did you want to say there?
No. I was done speaking. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So now it's your time. Outcast in focus. This is all about you and your journey as Survivor. Paul, explain to me. I mean, I haven't seen a bubble burst that badly since Bitcoin dropped. I mean, you went from being St. Paul to seeing the Great Fall. You know, the Great Fall of St. Paul. Explain to me, how did this all go down, dude? What happened?
Look, I mean, I suppose every great leader has his rise and has his fall, hey? And I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, like, I like to see it as like, you know, I was probably pretty good in that game. So they were like, "Man, we have to get this guy out because if we don't get him out, then this guy's going to be a problem in our hands." And like, you know, as Santroni says, like, you know, like I'm a bit of like a firecracker, Jack in the Box. Like, I mean, I will cause chaos. Like, had I known that I was going, I would have caused chaos. Like, you know, I would have.
I mean, I suppose, Paul, it's kind of, had you known you were going, I think that would have defeated the blind side, right? That's one of the things.
Oh, yeah. And then I suppose like sometimes you have the inside scoop that you kind of suspect that if you can do something about it, you know, and you actually stick with your gut feel, which is unfortunately what I didn't do. Had I stuck with my gut feel, like my whole plan was like, okay, cool, sweet. I'm sticking with my gut feel. First things first, I'm throwing all the food in the fire. Next things first, because that's previous challenges where the guy was like,
but Paul, how could you? But hang on, man. How could you throw the food in the fire if you had already eaten it all? I think that's like one of the reasons why they used to vote you off, because it's on the edit that we saw, just you were always eating the food, man. You can't throw anything that's on the fire then.
That's sugarcane. I mean, there's sugarcane just growing anywhere, you know, anywhere and everywhere. It's the wild coast there, you know, like sugarcane just grows like nothing, you know.
Yeah.
But the reality is like I was prepared to put myself in a position that was like, okay, just because out of pride, I'm willing to starve. But I know that there's people here that wouldn't be able to sustain that. So out
Yeah.
of pure satisfaction out of pure satisfaction of frustrating other people, I would have survived because I know I would have got my way and I would have said, sweet, cool, shop. You're uncomfortable. I'm also uncomfortable. We'll
Yeah.
be uncomfortable together. No problem. You don't have to talk to me because the reality is when the challenge comes, you need me. So
Yeah.
which one? You know?
Well, that's an interesting. I mean, I suppose that did tell in terms of what we saw from the edit. You were comfortable in the fact that they needed you from the challenge perspective, but you also so you were aware that you were frustrating people during camp moments. You were aware of that then.
Look, I was aware that the people that were getting frustrated with me were the people or the individuals, or let's say the tribe members, tribe mates,
Yeah.
that had a problem with us, that had a problem with me and Chappies before the food problem. You know,
Okay.
it was just an added extra. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like where does this come from? Well, I mean, think about it this way: like you all of a sudden wake up, start hating him. If we look at the crux of the facts, you wanted him and Chappies out before he started eating food.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. But at that moment in time, I just find it super interesting. I mean, you guys come. Okay, but before we get into the nitty gritty of the actual gameplay, what I kind of want to get from you is the first day when you land on the island. I mean, like I said, St. Paul, did you doing the things? You're smiling, you're looking good, doing super well in challenges. What for you was the best moment, the best takeaway throughout your experience in Survivor?
Hey, I think it was definitely actually like one is building the shelter. Two is also just being a part of the challenges because it's crazy because you can sit there and we cannot see eye to eye. But best believe when we're in that challenge, it's like, bro, we need to be like this.
Yeah.
Because if now we're gonna bring our differences to the game, then we might as well just say that we've lost the challenge immediately and not participate. So it's just the way that everyone's able to adapt between, okay, well, I hate you, but I do the challenge and go again. So like everyone, the way that we compartmentalize our emotions and frustrations at different points in the game is insane. You know, like one minute you're like, oh, I hope you're out of the river because you're struggling and I need you to get out and, you're on my team. Next minute, I'm like, you know what, actually, this person, they're just hella useless.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Well, I think that's fair. But before we continue, we've got Chris Dixon jumping in here and he wants to ask you a question. He's saying, Paul, what is your favorite fast food and soda?
So I don't really. Okay, if you ask me soda, I'll maybe say like I don't really drink a lot of fizzy drinks, but if I do drink fizzy drinks, I love Iron Brew. It's delicious. It's my favorite. Yeah. And then my favorite fast food has to be Chicken Licken. Like that is the number one.
Winner. That's a winner.
The second best would be like chicken that I had in the Bahamas. Like I was telling someone when I travel and stuff, I try chicken from different places, so I know which one tastes best. And Chicken Licken is top of the list.
Nice. I'm going to write that down. I've done a couple of game designs for Chicken Licken. Those guys always have the best ads. So if the ads are anything to go by the chicken, Chris, you want to get yourself some Chicken Licken. Here's another one saying, Incognito asking you, it's like, was Vada's cooking really that bad, Paul? I mean, you came completely left field. Here people are voting for strategy and you just go, you know what, Vada? Your food sucks. Explain that to us. Was it awful?
No, look here. It wasn't awful. It was the fact that was the only thing that I felt like in the game that she could do. But then on top of that, when it came to the cooking, it was like, okay, well, I'm actually still helping you cook. You're still asking me, oh, well, how do we do this? Or where we should do this? And I'm like, bro, like, okay, so I can see what you're trying to do here, which is take on the role of that maternal motherly role and cook for everyone. So everyone's like, woo, if people are cooking for you, like no one's really worried about the person that cooks for them, because at the same time it's like, hey, if this person, if they want to, they can poison us, or they can just make like, they can put maybe a few leaves in the food and just give us an upset stomach and we screwed. And I think.
That's one of those, sorry, Paul, that's just one of those situations where you're like, screw it, I've moved out for a reason. I don't want to go live on an island and have another mother hanging around who potentially can poison my food. I suppose that reasoning makes sense.
100%. And just like they found ways to like nitpick at me, it was like, oh, well, hey, man, dog, on the island, I started finding ways. I'm also like, dog, I need to be frustrated with someone. I need to be frustrated.
So you went looking to be frustrated?
No, I wasn't looking to be frustrated. I was a content man. You see me sleeping, having a good time. Like I was a happy man. Wake me up. Let me go do the challenges. We come back and sleep. That's it. That was my game plan. Then, people threw a spanner in the works. Now I got to do difficult things here, man. Come on.
Yes, man. But let's apart from the spanners getting thrown in here, the bond between you and Chappies is a clear one. You guys are clearly playing the game together from day one. What was it, based on what Chris is asking here, that drew him to you and vice versa? Why did you guys bond so well?
Look, that's actually a great question. I think number one, we bonded so well because we both expressed to each other that, we're here for an experience. Our strategy just aligned when I mentioned to Chappies, I'm like, what, dude, I want someone that I can trust all the way, because I find the problem with this game is that you trust 5 or 6 people and you get comfortable with those 5 or 6 people. So you forget about the other 5 or 6 people. So you only become skeptical of 5 other people. But if you only trust one person, you're skeptical of the other 9. So let me be skeptical of the other 9. It's fine, because I only know that if information stops going through between me and Chappies, then I know that there's something going on. But if now I've got 5 people, 2 of the 5 people come and speak to me, I'm all of a sudden like, oh, it's okay. I got a bit of information from there, and information changes. So if I trust one person, I know that someone can come say, oh, well, Chappies said this. I'm like, well, that's a lie, because I know I speak to Chappies. But if there's 3 of us in an alliance, the one person says, oh, Chappies said this, and the other person said Chappies this, and then Chappies come and speaks to me. That's 3 different opinions. That's 4 different opinions that I have to deal with now, which is Chappies' opinion and 3 other people. So now, okay, well, which one do I trust? Do I trust this person? Do I trust this person? No, let me trust one person. I'm good. And we help each other get as far as possible. And later down the line, you watch your back, I watch my back. Because I think we also knew, like in the Vuna tribe, hey, people are going to be gunning for us. So we might as well watch each other's backs and then see how it works out.
But what is the thing that you were drawn to? Why did you choose him out of the other guys on your tribe? Why was it Chappies?
Well, funny enough, I actually didn't choose Chappies. Chappies chose me, eh? Like, so, well,
the Chappies paper knows all, eh?
Yeah, so 100%, and I wouldn't say like he chose me, but it was more so like a conversation where I said to Chappies, I was like, listen, dude, like, I don't know what my strategy is. Let's keep on winning the challenges. When we lose, come and talk to me. But I'm not all for this running around trying to find an alliance, because everyone makes an alliance with the wrong person on the first 2 days. And I think he then came to me and said, he was like, and I actually respect that, because as much as I want to be in alliance with you, you're also telling me, hold on, pump the brakes. And I said, no, pump the brakes. Let's just wait and see what happens. So what was drawn to me is that now, when we spend time around the fire and obviously building the shelter and stuff, like, we just click like that. We got the same mindset. It's a very team mindset mentality of like, and I mean, of course, because him being a transformational coach, like, I'm also drawn to those sorts of people that are very positive and encouraging, So it's just naturally the way that he carries himself, the way that he actually speaks to a person, and just expresses himself. For me, it's like, okay, well, actually, I can actually side with this guy. He seems like a genuine person. I'm hearing him. I'm listening to him. I speak to him. He hears me. He listens to me. He responds. So it's just that reciprocation of communication from both sides. It's not, oh, well, I get that he's here to play a game, but he's also here to get to know people. And that's what drew me to him, is that it wasn't just all about the game. It was also about actually connecting with people. Okay. And that's what I like.
So are you still think after the show, you're still going to be in close contact with a guy like that? Clearly, that makes sense, right?
100%. I think him and I will be best of buddies. Definitely.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's awesome. So Chappies, you got a friend in Paul over here, so to look out for that one. So your game, like I said, it's a bit of a roller coaster. You're doing really well. You get thrown in this sort of tribe swap scenario where you and Chappies have just been blindsided. You managed to flip it in your favor, which is fantastic, which is one of the big surprises as to why you go home this episode. What do you think you did so horribly wrong that your game just blew up in a couple of days after doing so well?
So I didn't trust my gut feel on that last day. The last day, I didn't, like, in my gut, I knew that something was up, and I didn't trust it. Had I trusted, I think the game would have gone a little bit different, So I honestly think it was like that moment. I knew my gut feel, dog, something is up. These people are acting weird, and there's just the amount of movement in camp is not the normal amount of movement, because I would like to say that, I mean, yes, you don't see me a lot because I'm actually just chilling, but most of the time I'm actually just listening to people and observing people's reactions and things, because I've got all day to sit there and be like, okay, so let's see how this person reacts, and they chat to this person and listen to that conversation. So I've got all the time to actually watch their behaviors. And then I'm like, okay, but no, these behaviors have all of a sudden changed. And if information, like if there's certain things that don't come past me, then I'm also like, ooh, something's up. And so I faltered, and hence why I go back to Anela. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I feel like there's something going on here that you're not telling me. You know? And Haiti told me, and I guess he didn't tell me because he knew if he had told me, he would have messed up his alliance on that side.
Yeah. But to be fair, you did well there. So there is something in that you're being able to read the pattern, because you actually managed to convert him, because he went from saying he wanted you out and all of a sudden he ended up voting with you that round. So good, fair play on that, right?
No. I don't think I converted him. I think he didn't vote for me in the event that I had something up my sleeve, which is the same way that we voted with Warda and Pinty. It was like, okay, well, me and Chappies voted for two other different people. In the event that Pinty had something, we can still reel her back into our alliance. Be like, you know, dude, you can trust us, because you know that although you thought we voted for you, we didn't vote for you, and we can prove it, and we can tell you this. Whereas I think for him on his side, if he had somewhat got caught out and I'd found out, then he would have said, well, but I didn't vote for you. But not voting for me as a point to prove that I didn't vote for you is just as good as voting for me, because what actually counted was the information. The information was the key. Doesn't matter whether you didn't vote for me or not. It's the information that matters.
So do you think your downfall to only play the game or trust solely in Chappies was a mistake on your side?
Look, maybe yes, but also no, because the reality is our downfall was the third member who I was skeptical of, which is Santini. Because now, had we, let's say we had not brought her into our alliance, she would have never been in that position where she's like, oh, but you know what, I feel like I'm a third wheel, because there was no ways we would have put her in that precarious position to be like, oh my gosh, you know, like she feel like she wants a piece of the action. Whereas at that point, it could have just been a thing of like, hey, Santini, you know, we voted for these guys. Are you keen to vote? Okay, cool, sweet. You've got the numbers. Cool, sweet, you know. But then also, again, Santini was a key player in us understanding other aspects of the game and giving us key information that helped us understand that, okay, well, if you go to Immunity Island, you know, you can't come back and try and lie to what goes on, because Santini goes there and she comes back and she tells us what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
About that, that's an interesting point. When you guys are doing that challenge on last week's episode, and Santini's telling you about the clue, and your response is quite one of you weren't very pleased. Let's say you were shocked and pleased, and you're like, why are you telling me this now? Why didn't you tell me this before? Explain what is going through your mind, because you're going from that moment, you're going straight into the challenge with Tyson, and now you conveying the message. So you're quite upset, but at the same time, you then pass on the information. What is going on there?
Oh yeah, no. So like for me, I was like, okay, well, first of all, why are you telling me now? Because then because now I'm sitting there under the impression that, okay, well, you're telling me that you're part of my alliance, but if you're part of my alliance, why didn't you tell me this information in the first place? You know, but you're only telling me now because you know that I'm the only person that can possibly get this information. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, because it's a last case scenario, I'm your last possible person that can actually help you get this thing. You now want to use me. So I was like, okay, but I could have actually just said, well, it's not my problem, dude. I don't care.
Yeah. But then you still choose to work with her afterwards, knowing that.
Well, no, but I necessarily didn't. It was more of her. So my alliance with Chappies and her are in the alliance. So it's kind of like me and Chappies and her and Chappies, but we're like three people, but we're separate. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
That's how I would like to see it, because it made strategic sense, but I was never. I like I said, I wasn't fully on board with it, but it made sense because we got valuable information.
Okay, you know, Chappies, is an interesting character, and you say you enjoyed the challenge side of things. I mean, for obvious reasons. You're strong, you're physical, you get stuck in. Like you can see it. But the
Yes.
one for future life and they send Warda and they send Chappies. Why? What happened? Why was your name not in the mix there for that one?
So I guess I think for that one it was more so we knew that okay, there's out of the males there, they've got 4 males there. So there's Kieran, Kieran, Tyson, Rainier, and Dina. So we actually thought, okay, well, if it's a challenge, we worked on power to weight ratio. It was like, okay, well, it's either Chappies or Anela that has to go for this challenge, because if it's a male on male kind of thing, either they're going to send Rainier or they're going to send Dina.
Yeah,
it's highly unlikely that they're going to send Kieran or Tyson. So Chappies was okay. Well, cool. I'll go and do it. So I was also very happy to be like, no, go mad, dude, because as you saw in the challenge, had I gone, I would have been screwed, purely because of the fact that the bar would have been right by my face. So regardless, I mean, unless I'm actually like a Scaran to Benny, where I've got legs like a beast and I can actually just withstand and hold that thing, there's no ways I would have overpowered Dina. So it just made sense that if we sized up the whole tribe, it was like, okay, well, the tallest and the heaviest, the tallest person needs to go, because then that matches up with the tallest person on their tribe. Then it's like, okay, well, weight ratio. Okay, well, Anela and Dina, roughly the same weight. Okay, then you guys should go. And then we actually worked it down that way. But then with the girls, I guess Warda put up, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was going to be a tough one regardless with Marish on the other side. Yo, she's got guns, boy.
We knew that regardless of whichever female we sent, like you just had to hope that it was maybe like a brain challenge or something like that, and not a straight up physical challenge, because we knew that physical challenge, like there's no competing. But we knew on the male side of things, we could definitely put up a fight. And as far as we were concerned, Chappies and Anela would be the first to actually bring home the gold.
Okay. Right. Yeah, but I'm glad we're moving from this topic, as you mentioned Dino, and now I want to debunk something here. The Dino scenario from the first episode, going Paul, and he's like, Paul, go check. There's the hidden immunity, like thinking he's created a bond with you from that perspective, and then he's standing on the platform when they're building the puzzle, and it's like, Paul, save me. Like, what is going on there? Like, why don't you respond? Why aren't you throwing the guy a bone? Are you quiet? Or what's going on? Do you guys know each other? What's the story here? Like, what is the connection, dude? How's the guy out of nowhere just telling you something?
No, because I think maybe you see the thing is also, I guess that Dino was also playing a tactical game, because now if he can somehow find an alliance on the other side, because he knows at some point, and we all know at some point there's going to be a tribe swap. And if he so happened to be on the same tribe, or he so happens to be on our tribe, predominantly our tribe, then he's kind of created that little bit of connection between us two. So it's like then he's basically saying, you know what, I've shot my shot. If it turns out that we're on the same tribe and we're in the minority, let me just try and see if I can go to Paul, because I gave him a bone in the beginning. So maybe he might be able to save me, So I think it's all about actually spreading. I think it's all about throwing your net as far as possible, so that when the things come down, it's like, hey, if your other tribe is actually ready to give you the boot, you go back that side, you give Paul a whole bunch of information. It's like, actually, Dina, I'll adopt you, my friend. Pull in, I've got your back. Let's deal with your boys on that side.
Yeah.
So,
but he was casting the nets, and you weren't biting.
No. I wasn't biting, because I didn't want to be affiliated with it. I didn't want to be the person I haven't even made an alliance with my own tribe. Now I'm looking for an alliance somewhere else. No. And plus, it's like, it's very hopeful for me to do that, because now they're like, actually, you know what? Because already off the bat, I already become very suspicious, because like, this guy's trying to make an alliance when he's not with someone who's not even in our tribe. So now I try to make an alliance, and then it's like, but actually, dude, are you in this tribe or are you that tribe? So it's kind of like, I'm not trying to. No.
Okay, fair enough. Before we move on to the Golden Spear section of the show, Paul, I got one more question, just from a survivor perspective. What is it that you want to tell people watching that they didn't get to see of Paul? I mean, we saw a lot of you. Like I said, we saw the ups and the downs, but what did they not see out there?
What did they not? No, they saw everything, man. That's Paul in a nutshell. I mean, whatever's on camera is practically what you see. I mean, I guess in some of the clips, one of the pre-adverts where it's like, they're deciding like, oh, who are we gonna vote for? And then you hear me say, well, we'll make an executive decision. Like 100%. Like I suppose like that's also how I am. Like I can be very firmly diplomatic, but also I'm a very light-hearted person. So
Yeah.
I guess that
Just not when you're sharing food, eh? Not when you're sharing food, because when they came over for that other part, you were like, no, take the future life, and you kind of chucked it at Dino. I mean, it didn't come across so friendly. I'm gonna put that out there.
No, man. But because yeah, man. I mean, shucks, I was more than happy because I mean, like, we go ahead and take the food because at the end of the day, for me, it's like I definitely can say that I can struggle a lot harder than anyone else can. So I have no problem sitting there being like, Doc, go mad, take everything. It's fine. Because I know that I can survive out of the struggle. There's certain people that were like, yes, actually, this is miserable. I haven't been able to sleep, this and that. So the more miserable it is for other people, the better it is for me. Because I know that I have got a high tolerance for discomfort. But other people don't.
But in that scenario, though, what we saw was you came off not looking the greatest in terms of, you looked like the antagonist, not wanting to give anything to these guys. Like, how long did that actually take? I mean, we see a couple of minutes, them coming, hey, we got this thing, we're going to take your stuff. And you guys like, no, you dig everything. Firstly, whose idea was that? And secondly, how did that actually play out? Was it like, how long did that actually last? Hello? Paul?
Yes, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you were asking about when they had and how long it took.
Yeah.
Look, to be honest, I actually don't know because by that time, like we had absolutely no concept of time. So we didn't. I couldn't even guess and tell you how long it took. I definitely can say, like, I mean, when Dina actually read us the instructions, because you see us frantically putting stuff here and putting stuff there and hiding stuff, whatever. So I dug a hole and put the stuff inside the hole. That's why you see me digging. And then Dina is like, well, they took the pillows. We're like, we want the pillows. And we're like, well, you gotta go find them. And then clearly states there, okay, well, Brew, you have to give us the stuff. So now we sit in there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, they're in the ground. And then I was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to dig, I guess. And then so me and Dina are there sitting digging and whatever the case would be, And
so and you're not trying to form a relationship even then with Dino at that moment in time while you're digging with him.
No. We are trying to form like we're trying to get the inside scoop over there. They're trying to get the inside scoop over here. And also the reality is like, I guess it just wasn't something that I was like, I just wasn't focused on casting my net out too far because my current alliance is working quite fine at the moment. To then say, oh, but we have actually got another one here, and then get ahead of myself. Like, actually, I've got my finger in too many pies, but meanwhile, because I got my finger in this pie, this one's getting cold.
Makes sense.
Like, I'll stay where the pie is hot. And that's
Look, a warmer pie does tend to taste better. Okay, I think that's cool. I think that's all right. It's time for the Golden Spear. Paul, and the golden. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. It's time for the Golden Spear, and this is the award we give to the player for this episode who made the best move for their game. And we're going to give it a couple of nominations. You're going to tell me who you think deserves it based on this edit. And the reason why this is super great is because I base my judgment on the people that I see on the island, and you judge your your judgment is based on purely the guys that were on the island with you. So I'm going to let you go first. Who do you think did really well in this episode?
What question? Who? I want to know who won the last one. Did I win?
The last one was Santini, bro. She's on fire. It's kind of like it was Mike gave Santini the award.
Yeah. Look, this one, I'd probably say Anela, because I think that first move that they made when we moved onto the island, when they were like, no, him and Sean wanted to separate us so that they could actually. It was actually a brilliant move because
Yeah.
when we got there, we just thought, they're showing us around, and I wasn't really interested in. I know where the water is, bro. We know where these things are, so just chill out. But they insisted, no, let's go. And so when they stayed over, he checked in the box for an idol or whatever, and then chowed some food. So it was definitely a great move on his part. So
Okay.
I'd say, yeah.
Anela.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, Anella's a good shot. So are you saying that he was responsible for a lot of the orchestrating of the flipping the chappies and Paul sort of duo over?
Look, I think it was definitely a contributing factor because now it bridged the gap between Anela, Amy, and Sean, because he was basically the deciding factor of who his three would vote for. So if he was like, I think we should vote for this guy, boom, Amy and Sean said, okay, cool, let's go.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we got someone. He was actually on the show with me a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to Hilgard. He's asking you. He wants to know where you buy your shirts because he wants the one that you're wearing.
Where I'll give you this one if you want it.
Hey, don't make promises you can't keep. You've just been voted out, so we don't know if we can trust you. Hilgard, are you making note of this?
Yeah, no, I actually got it at Pick and Page. Wait, no, at Markham's. I got it at Markham's. When they had that cool first clothing line coming out. Yeah, they sell them at Markham's, my guy.
Nice little fashion sense there. Okay, so Paul, you've given Anele as a shout, but for this episode, is there anyone else that you want to shout out there?
Like actually say who I think made the best move.
Yeah, made the best move because if we're looking at the Vuna tribe, right? They won their challenge, they did really well. Like Renier, Dino, all of them, Marisha for competing in the challenge, helping win that, get the ball across the line. Yeah. Maybe even in your own tribe, Santoni doing another flip. Is that not something worth crediting? I know it was against you, but is that not a good move in her game or helping her game?
Look, it definitely was. And then I also mean, like, if you also look at big moves, a big move was and it's not to say that discredit Santoni, but if you look at also a very pivotal moment is that let's say hypothetically we had no information of what happened at Immunity Island when Dino and Anesu came. They read out the thing to us, and they literally flat out said, oh, okay, well, this is what happened. So now everyone's sitting there like, wait, hold on a second. Did this chick just this chick just lied to us? But these oaks gave away all the information. Like, that's a brilliant move because immediately right there, everyone's like, okay, so Amy, you had us going on this live for a whole 24 hours. Then the next day we found out that you actually lied to us, but everything was fine. So she knew. So, I mean, I guess it was either the move between Anesu and Dino, which is actually just like saying, hey, by the way, I'm just going to throw this person under the bus in front of you because you can see Santoni even got crossed. Yeah. And then also, look, Santoni's move was also really good, but it wasn't something that I didn't expect because I guess maybe she also wanted a piece of the action. But I feel like you want me to say Santoni because she...
Oh, no. Please, don't be persuaded by anything I'm saying. Dude, this is all you. This is what you think.
No, I'm saying like a pivotal moment would have been for me that move between Dino and Anesu because of the fact that they knew that was something that was actually going to pose a lot of questions in the tribe. Okay, well, but why did you actually just lie to us? And we all believed it. So now it's like, okay, well, no, we definitely can't trust you. Whatever you say, we cannot trust you.
I mean, dude, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I do love that. I didn't even consider that. So I think that's a great shot there. Also, when I think about maybe is Carla not worth mentioning largely because she comes off the bat of losing her number one ally in the game. And somehow she manages to escape the vote. Maybe it's because you painted a bigger target on your back. But how does she navigate this? How does she survive this? Even after getting caught out with her little the spiel she puts on about trying to trick you guys with the whole immunity and the vote.
Yeah, look, I mean, she didn't trick us because we knew that if she came back, then so for me it wasn't really a surprise because if she came back, she thought that we didn't know that we wouldn't be able to vote for her. So I was like, okay, well, dude, if she comes back, it's a very silly move. So she must just stay there. But if she stays there, we're voting Warda. If she comes back, we're definitely voting for her because we know we can vote for her. So then it's just actually keeping an eye. So for me, it wasn't really too surprised by that. And I guess for me, it was like the move of the game is not necessarily a move against me, but a move that actually had the whole tribe like, actually,
Questioning.
wait a second here. Like, even had her own tribe, even had like her own current Zamba members saying, like, what? Like, you couldn't even tell us that, you lost
Yeah.
this thing,
Yeah.
Because
Also, I know this is somewhat separate from the Golden Spear, but Sean's moment that he has and he recovers. So not necessarily on a tactical
say
level.
that again.
Sean, with the moment that he
Who's
had,
it?
Sean, with regards to his allergic reaction or whatever it was, what exactly happened there? Was it because he ate something?
Yes.
Was it like Carlo was saying, because he ate something and he caught an allergic reaction? Were you guys scared at all at the moment in time?
No. Look, no, I wasn't. I wasn't scared. I wasn't. Look, I wasn't scared. I guess. I mean, maybe worried for him, but not for me, because I think, like Chappie says, I guess in the game when something like that happens, like, okay, well, it takes one more person out of the game. So if anything, if he goes home, it's good for everybody, because that's one less person that you have to worry about in the game.
Okay.
But obviously, on a personal level, everyone's like, "Oh, we're worried." So you're generally concerned about his health, but you're also in the game, and it's like it's almost like running a 100-meter race and a guy trips. Like, you're worried about him, and it sucks for him, but you're still going to carry on and run your race. There's one less person to beat.
Yeah, that's true. That's a valid point. You want to win, and I like that. So that's a pity you are based on that mentality. I think, like you said, you would have caused a lot more chaos. Hilgard's asking a question here. He's saying, any moments you saw on TV that shook you, that you didn't know at the time?
Definitely like the weather and stuff like that. Like, I was shook. Like, I couldn't. I was like, what? Like, I mean, when you see us sleeping in a cave, it was like that night, it was pouring with rain. Like, everything was wet. Everything was wet. For the next 3 days, all your clothes are wet. Like, it even, you're wearing socks when you arrive there. You obviously got your whole kit on from when you leave, or when you just rock up there. And you're wearing those socks to keep you warm, and they're wet. Your shoes are wet. Your jacket is wet. If it's not completely waterproof, it is wet. Then you got to go and do a challenge with all these wet clothes, and you are freezing. But you got to wear like clothes that are functional. They're not going to get stuck. So I mean, like that was definitely one of those moments where I got shook. Where I was like, "What? Like, this is real, bro. Like, I've never been cold and freezing and wet at the same time."
And even despite all of that, I know, like, there's a huge theme in Survivor that when people get cold, they tend to snuggle. I mean, from what we saw in your tribe, you got closer snuggling on the neck there. But I mean, did you guys do anything more than that in terms of like trying to get warmer? Was that as close as you got in trying to share body warmth with someone?
No. Like you snuggle. I won't lie to you. Body heat is a real thing. So you literally packed like this. You're packed like sardines, and then okay, everybody turn, and then you all turn the other way, and then you all turn, so that you get warm on one side and you get side. But then we just said, actually, screw this. Me and Chappies will just sleep by the fire.
Oh, geez,
but no, you generally snuggle in those moments because you literally have no more body heat. So like, you've got 10 people hugging each other, like, and then you turn, and then you swap, you rotate, like, no.
All right, it's cool. And then I suppose my next question is, big spoon or little spoon? Which one is your favorite there, Paul?
I gotta be like, so I can actually like get inside there, get inside there. Makes this me to be spoon,
Cool, man. Okay, I think it's time to give the Golden Spear. I think you've done enough. Great nominations, by the way, and I liked your suggestion. So I'm going to count down to 3. You're going to throw that Golden Spear, and you're going to give the nomination. You ready?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to go for Dino and Nessie.
All right, guys. I don't know. From his Golden Spear, I think it needed a little bit more energy, but we're going to let it be.
No.
Throw that thing, bro. Let's see it. Okay, I'm going to count again.
Something like that. Hold on. I thought it was like a virtual spear, like jump.
No, dude, I'm going to count it down. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
I want to give it to Dina and Anesu. We there.
Sweet, that's far better. Okay,
cool. I thought it was like a virtual spear. Just touched me like pew.
And then we're gonna do a little spark there. We can try that. You ready? Just a little. Yeah, there we go. I like that. It's not a bad one. Not a bad one. Okay, time for the wooden spoon. This is
Yeah.
for the player who made the worst move throughout the episode, not the game, but the episode, and kind of hurt their game moving forward. Obviously, you're a clear shot because you're off the island, but we're not going to start with you, Paul. So let's. Who do you think? Who do you think deserves to be nominated in this category?
I would definitely probably say even me as well, because it seems like my whole strategy of voting is like what are all the time. And it's funny because people ask me like, but why are you voting for it? And it's like, no, Doc, these are strategic moves and why we are voting for these people. So that they know that, Doc, do not relax. Like these things are based on don't relax. Like we are onto you.
Yeah.
Who else? Who made the worst? I think maybe Sean probably made the worst move because when he ate the pineapple, like he did tell us, like, dude, I'm allergic. I don't know if I'm allergic, but he was like, so he ate this thing, which actually cost us, which we feel like had he been part of the challenge could have ended up differently. So his move was also very silly by playing with his health because it cost our tribe on the back end. And then,
sorry, man, I'm just going to interject there. I love that answer, largely because, it's not only just life-threatening for his game life, but for his actual life. I mean, there was something that needed to be thought about there. And, it hurt you guys in the challenge, so that's a fair shot. Right, who's the next one?
And then the next one, can it be someone from another tribe?
Yeah, of course it can be. It can even be Niku if he presented badly. You can tell the people need to know the truth.
I would maybe say who would be maybe Kieran, because Kieran but it was in season 3.
Episode 3,
Episode 3 when Kieran basically when they say, oh, where's Tyson? Kieran's like, oh, I don't know where Tyson is. He's gone. He's walking around somewhere. I'm like, Brew, if you don't know where he is, just don't answer the question. Because he's clearly doing something for the tribe. And plus, if you basically saying, oh, you don't know where Tyson is, clearly Tyson is up to something.
Yeah.
You know? So just by him saying, I don't know where Tyson is, but, I think he's gone over somewhere. It's like, oh, my gosh, Kieran. Like, now they're going to be suspicious of Tyson. And had you just not replied to the answer, people would have come up with their own assumptions. So I think that was also like a very silly thing to do on his part, especially because part of his.
But I love the fact that you mentioned that, because I've mentioned it in the previous episode, one that Hilgard was actually on, by the way. But it is, I don't think he does well confrontation when he is asked the hard questions, which is an interesting one, because he does come across like a sincere person. So he does struggle with that. Maybe that's something to watch moving forward. Another question here. Another question here saying Anela for not having a good poker face when he was lying to you.
Look, you know what? Like for me, like I'm not the type. Like first of all, I don't play poker, so I suck. Second of all, it's like it's like I don't know people well enough to all of a sudden be like, okay, but this person is lying. Like I think it must be also a gift that you can tell when someone is lying, because the reality is, I mean, with Mike, he was sure that me and Chappies weren't going to vote for him. And when we're standing there after the meeting, we're like, you know what, Mike, you asked us for your word and you asked us to confirm with you that we are not voting for you. I reassured him, but I just changed my words a little bit. I said, Mike.
Which, in my opinion, wasn't a very good reassurance, by the way. I mean, like when we seeing that off the TV, you could see, from you, because you weren't very enthused about it. You're like, no, Mike, we'll vote with you. I mean, I'm like, come on now.
Okay, maybe I also suck. But at that point in time, I used a little bit of my psychological aspects of, you know what, Mike, you've posed very good points. And it's almost a no-brainer. So whether I have a good poker face or not, I'm basically affirming everything that you have said, and I've affirmed that logical decision. So yes, I want to make this decision. So I'm confirming that yes, I have doubts, and at the same time, because what you're saying is a valid point, I'm gonna make the decision based on the logic of your decision. Because Mike understood that I was a very logical player.
And I mean, not based on the water vote, but okay. I mean, he didn't see that happen. That was going on.
That's fine there.
Okay, Paul, you did mention previously somewhat, you're not obviously wooden spooning her, but you did mention Amy. because she got caught out because of Dino and Anesu. So should she not be thrown into this mixer? I'm not sure if I'm live or if Paul's gone. But we are having some issue here with the connection, guys. So, but also, don't be afraid to give us your nominations for the wooden spoon as well. Okay, it seems like Paul has gone. I mean, that's not very good. But he's coming back. Are you coming back, Paul?
Yes. Sorry. I mentioned Amy. Okay. Yes, because like she thought that like and that's a moment because like the fact that she thought that hey maybe she's gonna get away with this one and she actually didn't because she straight up got caught out and bribed us.
Yeah.
Well, and so Amy also mentioned because Carla also tried to browse and she's like, oh, I went to Community Island and there was knickknacks and donuts and this and we were like, okay, me and Chappies were like, okay, tell us more. What else were there? Okay, was there this? There was beer. We said, oh, what else were there? And we were like, no, man, how do they have all these things just, in this little fresh shop? Like, you telling me you did not even touch one thing? No, I just left it. No ways, this is a lie. Because when we kept on asking her, the story changed. There was chips, and then there was biltong, and then there was knickknacks, and then there was jelly babies, and then there was jelly tots. We said, nah, bruh, there's too many things in the shop. There's too many things.
All right. Well, in the wooden spoon shop, you've mentioned a couple now. So you've mentioned Carla, you've mentioned Amy, you've mentioned, I think Anele got a little bit of a shot, but that was not from you. That was from Hilgard. We've got, who else did you shout out? Jeez, you mentioned Kieran for his poor poker face. Also Sean for struggling there for eating the pineapple, not helping with the challenge, which I think is another good one. Yes. Is there one more that you're forgetting, Paul? Is there one more?
One more.
I mean, Chris is saying you should chat about yourself here.
I didn't talk about myself. I did in the beginning.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, we didn't unpack yourself, though. What went wrong exactly? Why, like, when you're looking at back, not in terms of your gameplay, but when you're looking at back from the edit perspective,
yes,
what went wrong for you? What did you do wrong?
What did I do? I didn't trust my gut feel. I did not trust my gut feel because had I stuck with my gut feel, I would have made the moves in order to stay on the game. So, like when people make those bold moves like stealing the flint or throwing food in the fire and so on, I would have made those moves. So Santorini is 100% correct. Like, I am a very unpredictable player and I would cause chaos. And this is something that I always told champions. I said, listen, if I know that I'm going out, you must understand that everyone is going down with me. Everyone. Until I actually, and sometimes in the game, you have to make those bold moves in order to actually, because the fact is, if you really want to stay on the game, you're prepared to do anything. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, definitely.
And if anyone else is given the opportunity, they're like, okay, well, to what extent? And that's also a great question. To what extent would you go to stay on the game? Like, what would you do if you had another chance to stay on the game? Like, what measures would you take? Would you throw away the food? Would you do this? Would you burn the shelter? Like, would you hold the tribe at ransom? I knew for a fact that was my game plan. If I'm in trouble, I would hold the whole tribe at ransom. And Chappies was like, no, Paul, don't you think that's a little bit extreme? And I said, no, Chappies, it's not. Because I want to be on this game. I want to win. So is it extreme if, let's say, I end up staying and then I win the million? No. Because further down the line, people will be like, you know what, actually, this guy literally whatever it took. He was not willing to go down without a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, obviously, like you said, that's clearly one of the things that they were afraid of. Paul, can you still hear me? Just want to ask you, I've got a question. Yeah, I've got a question here from Mesobotse, and I'm not sure, asking immediately after getting voted out, you were asked to phone your tribe and said some hilarious things. Do you still feel the same way after seeing different perspectives?
No, I don't. Because everything that I said, if I watched the show, everything that I said happened. It happened, So it was like, yes, okay, Chappies, he didn't know. Anela, what can I say about Anela? You heard what I said about Anela, and you saw what happened in the show.
Yeah.
Santrini, you heard what I said about Santrini, you saw what happened in the show. You
Yeah.
heard what I said about Carla, you saw what happened in the show. You heard what I said about Warda, you saw what happened in the show. So basically, it's like everything that I'm saying, all that anger that I have after the show is justified when you look at what happened in the episode. So it's not like I'm actually making this stuff up or getting frustrated for nothing, you know? But do I feel that way now? No. I don't feel that way. At that point in time, yes, of course I was cross. You know, when you're angry and you're hungry and all these things, you know, you are going to say some things. And, you know, I'm sure they will forgive me. I'm sure they will forgive me because at the end of the day, it's just a game. They can't get upset with me for saying those things, just like I shouldn't get upset with them for voting me out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. And I love that's the spirit of how the game should be played, even though it does get tricky like you've highlighted already. All right. So wooden spoon time, Paul. I'm gonna count down to 3. Let's see that wooden spoon and let's hear that the final award.
You were telling me that I was forgetting someone. So who did you think who was I meant to say?
Oh no, I was just alluding to you because Chris had asked the question. He's like, "You're not mentioning yourself, Paul." So I just wanted to come back.
Oh no! I didn't mention myself. But my wooden spoon was just virgin for water and virgin for a person that actually just never ended up going out. So it was like, okay, my vote definitely could have gone somewhere else. So had I seen, actually, you know what, Christopher, you are very right. When I actually think about it now, and I thought about it, is that on the night when I went out, I sat there and I was like, you know what, damn it. Me and Anela, we both said that let's vote for water. Had we had voted for Carla, it would have been a 4-way split. So it would have made someone nervous, you know.
Yep.
So then we would have gone. Maybe someone changed it because what I should have done was said, okay, no, we all voted for Carla, and I just need to try and change one person's mind to put it 4-4, and then Bob's your uncle. We sit, we draw rocks. So you know what? Well done, Mr. Dixon. Well done. Give me some time. You allowed me time to think about it and actually look at myself in the mirror and say, you know, Paul, you actually screwed up. Don't point fingers, but point the finger at the person in the mirror.
There we go. Some nice self-reflection there. That's what our viewers bring to TNO. Thank you very much, by the way, guys. Okay, I'm going to do the countdown. Do the thing, Paul. Do the thing. 3, 2, 1.
You know, I think I would give it to myself. I would give it to myself because I'm here. Well, like, no way. The only person that deserves a wooden spoon is me. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the biggest flop out of everything.
Fair enough, guys. Also, I think that's the first time one of the castaways have given themselves the wooden spoon. So again, big ups to that, Paul. Big one. I like that. Also, wait, just one more question. Why do you think Chappie's switched to Carla? Do you know he was going to do that? Did you know that? And it says, why did you have a mini chat to Tribal before vote?
Oh, why didn't you have a mini chat? Oh, okay. So I didn't know. No, so Chappies didn't go with Carla. There was no ways that he was going with Carla. Outside of that, like, you must understand that the biggest problem that also happens is that now if you're having little side chats on the side, people now start changing their minds because if you're having a little one-on-one chat with someone and you've had this discussion with the alliance that this is who we're voting for, now all of a sudden people think, these guys are leaving us out of this conversation. I'm pretty sure that we all had this conversation together. So now it deviates from the plan. So the whole plan is, we make the decision, we talk like everything is normal, and bang, we make the vote. But the minute you start actually chatting at Tribal Council, people get confused and it's like, oh my gosh. So then it's like you got to sit there and you're hoping like, yes, I told us to vote for this, but hey, you maybe not voted for that. So it's actually a good thing. I mean, it could have caused a little bit of chaos in that actual tribe where now it's like, okay, well, people are too scared to speak up. But the reality is you can actually speak up. I remember Nick was saying, like, it's funny. And this is the one advice I will give you. If anyone ever goes on Survivor, just understand that as long as Nico is in front of you, you can talk to whoever you want to talk to. If you want to walk over to the other tribe and say, hey, listen, dude, you know what? I've got a little bit of a strategy. If you want to talk openly in front of everyone, you can do it. If you want to talk a strategy or walk over and stand up in Tribal Council and go and say, listen, chappies, I think we should do this, and you want to talk out loud, go ahead and do it, because I guarantee you, Where people get very confused and worried is when you start actually publicly talking. So if you're talking,
Yeah.
if you've got a strategy and then you talk about that strategy in public with people in front of you, like, you know what, actually, like there was a point where I got quite arrogant at one point with Chappies. I said, you know what, Chappies, if we get so far in the game and we have so much control, I think what we should do is actually just say to Nico, we're not voting. We're all willing to put up our hands here and vote right now. I can say that I'm voting for Michael. Chappies is also voting. I can say that 3 of us are voting for this person. Who else is voting for this person? Cool, done and dusted. We don't even have to go and write down on a piece of paper. Boom. Let's go.
Jeez.
And the thing is that they would allow that because it's good publicity. And it's like, yes, these folks are so confident that they're actually just voting out in the open. And we're basically giving you the boost data.
Paul, opportunity missed there. That is a huge opportunity missed for you. We've got Sean. He is here, by the way. So you want to give a little shout out to Paul. He's saying you should be getting the wooden spoon for suggesting that he would eat something that would kill him. Albert cough.
Sean, who's this? Mr. Wilson?
Yes. Mr. Wilson, bro.
What is it? I don't understand what he's saying. Paul for no. Oh, he's saying
he's just cracking a little joke there. He's cracking a little joke. Okay. Cool.
I see.
So we're going to move on to the next section there, Paul, because I loved your wooden spoon. That was awesome. Storms Brewing. What are your predictions moving forward in the season of Survivor SA Immunity Island?
Look, so I think, my predictions are unnecessary. Kieran Tyson will probably go quite far. I mean, if Chappies can survive the next, if he can survive the next Tribal Council or something like that, then I also bank on him as well. In the hope that maybe they send him over, or in the hope they send him to Immunity Island. But I mean, we must also remember that he's got the diplomatic immunity. So at any point, if he realizes that he's screwed, he can just send himself over to the other tribe.
Yeah.
So I think definitely for him, maybe Anila, because like his gameplay seems a little bit, all of, but like here and there. Dina as well, possibly. I think Rainier also. I mean, Rainier is also quite like he's quite a sharp oak. He's quite sharp. And Teresa, maybe Teresa as well. Like she's also very intelligent. She's hella hilarious as well.
Yeah, no, Teresa's amazing. I think she's got an incredible read. I just think it's that whole social dynamic that she's really struggling with. A question from the Santini front. From a TNO perspective, she's won 2 golden spears in a row.
Yes.
Do you not think now she's done the thing well? She's treading the fine line between playing between 2 different alliances and moving around. So it's been fantastic. But do you not think it's dangerous for her now? She's crossing that threshold where people are going to start going, hey, we can see what you're doing, and this is going to get dangerous for you. Look,
you see, and that's also funny. Like you'd say, it's bold moves, but it's not really a bold move. It's just a reactive move. It's a reactive decision because she's making that move because now she hasn't been in the position to make those decisions. So she always refers to herself as being either Paul's minion or Chappie's minion.
Yeah.
When it's like, dude, if you're smart, I'm actually saying, you know what, Doc, you guys do all the work. I'll give you all the information. You do all the work. I don't need to put a target on my back. I've already got these athletic guys that have got targets on their back. And yes, cool. You can sit here and say that I'm the third wheel. But her moves are reactive moves because she feels like she's in a position that, I also haven't been able to make moves. And no one's stopping me from making moves. But, now people are actually...
So are you saying it's a good or bad thing from her part?
It's a bad thing from her part because eventually she's hungry for something like that. So and I realized like once you put yourself in a position where you're kind of making reactive moves because you feel left out, or immediately she kind of painted herself as this picture of less than us by saying that she's like a little minion, when no, it's not the case. Because if you already see yourself as that, it immediately means that any move that you make beyond that point is taking yourself out of that minion role and putting yourself into the alpha dog role, which means then you actually want a taste of power. And it's not that we have a taste of power, but we make the decisions on a strategic point of view. You know, so it can be misconceived very quickly. And so, you know, I mean, that could lead to her downfall, or, you know, it could get her further down the game if she then reverts back to her normal self in the beginning, as Santorini is like this very laid back, lackadaisy, kind of like whimsical person, you know?
Yeah. Paul, I don't know, you're breaking up again, but I do want to, there's a good question here from Chris. He's saying, who from the other tribes do you wish you could have played with? He says, I can imagine you and Jason would have been a fun duo.
Possibly. I mean, it's funny because when I think about it now, like, because he was a super fan, I don't know if I would have wanted to play with him, because those youngsters know the game so well that it's like, hey, these guys, like, they can send you on a tangent, and, you know, like, you won't even see this thing come.
Scallum moves, boy.
100%. It's like when someone says, oh, do you know how to play chess? No, I don't know how to play chess. Bang. 4 moves, you in checkmate. You're like, okay, well, I'm done playing. I mean, look,
I want to ask you, sorry, Paul, Kian, do you think we're finally going to see a little bit more Kian in the next episode? Because we haven't seen anything of her.
Maybe not. Actually, I don't know. I mean, at the moment, it seems like from what I saw in the last episode, it seemed like, you know, she was between her and Teresi. They were on the outs and what not, and I don't really know what's happening there. But I suppose as long as they're winning, everything is fine. The minute they start losing, then, you know, you start seeing a little bit of cracks, and like, hey, actually, you know, we want to work with this person. We don't want to work with this person, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, we got two last questions. We're going to finish on this one, and then we're going to ask what your final thoughts are before we go. Last one. Do you think the fact that the cast is younger has resulted in big targets going home earlier? You and Jason were physical while Mike was strategic, and then boom, 3 out of the 4 out. Do you think that's had a huge effect on the game?
No, 100%, 100%. Because if basically, I've noticed that now, when it's a mixture of old and young, you kind of have that balance where they're sitting there like, okay, well, hold on, bro. We need to keep the strongest game players for as long as possible, because of the fact that we just don't want to lose challenges. If you get rid of your strong game players and we lose challenges, you must understand that someone's going home, and no one wants to go home yet. So we win challenge. It's a no-brainer. We win challenges, you stay longer. We lose challenges, one of us is going home. Then on the flip side, 100%, because I even saw from the get-go when we were there, people were already talking about blindsiding this person and that person. It was literally like, and I went like, we all felt like it was literally like you gave a 10-year-old a Ferrari and said, here are the keys, go mad. Because if there were grenades, people would have been throwing grenades left, right, and center, bang, 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 bang. Because that's exactly what was happening. Oaks were like, yo, actually, this person, that person. They were like, quick. You saw Carla went out the box flying. She's like, listen, actually, she even said, no, actually, Pinty. Then actually, no, I want Chappies. And she said it so confident, like, you know what, actually, Chappies is next. So we said, actually, you know what? We'll rebuttal. You can't capture our flag. Boom. Cheers. Go home. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, pa. You know, so it was like, yes, it was like, you know, bullets for bullets flying here, man. But it was like...
I love that analogy. It feels like we've been in a Ferrari at the moment, and if it keeps going this way, jeepers, this race is going to be one hell of a race. Paul, final thoughts before we go.
Yes. My final thought on the game.
Oh, whatever you want to say to the people, man. Whatever you want to leave, your final message here.
Look, I see, man. My final thoughts, yes, man. Look, I think it's a fantastic game. I think if you're the type of person that sits there and be like, oh, no, I don't think I could ever do Survivor because I just wouldn't last so long. Or, you know what, actually, shucks, bro, like I just don't get along with people. You are meant to be on Survivor. You are the type of person that needs to go on Survivor. Because at the end of the day, the juicier the characters, the better TV it makes and the more entertaining it is for us people or for the viewers to sit and watch, you know?
Yeah. And so from 1 to 10, Paul, from 1 to 10, how juicy were you?
How juicy? I would maybe say, Doug, I was maybe like a 6.5. I would
6.5 of juice. No, you're being modest now. You give yourself no ways, man. You give yourself the wooden spoon, and now you give yourself a 6 out of 10 for juice. No. Within that Ferrari and bullets flying.
Yes, did you see that gameplay, dog? I was bang, pew, 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 pew. You know, the sniper, pew, Agent 47, dog. You never seen it.
Oh, jeez. I think, and on that note, again, I'd give you an 11 out of 10. Paul, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you very much for being on TNO. To everyone who's come on live, we always appreciate the comments. Hilchard, we'll be chatting very soon, my friend, and Chris. Also, you've got me in the DMs, guys. Anyway, have a fantastic evening. Paul, you want to say goodbye?
Hello, Paul makes me absolutely lose it. Okay, well, how am I not really sure what he's losing?
He means in a good way. He means he's enjoying your company.
Santini can help you find it. She's pretty good at finding idols.
Paul, bro, what happened? You still there?
What the hell is going on?
Paul, guys, I don't know if you're experiencing this, but I'm really enjoying it. Look, and on that face, I think we should end on that note. Paul, you still there? No, I think he's gone. Guys, Paul.
Hello? What? I don't understand what is going on.
You're
Is
back.
Yes, is it my connection or your connection?
I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure what is happening, but I was enjoying it because I could hear you talking.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you so much, Claudia. And this is actually fantastic, man. You know, actually, you saved the best for last, because actually this is a nice little chuckle here, man. It was lekker.
Yeah, it was good. And I look forward to catching up. I'll see you sometime soon. And I think just so you didn't get lost in translation, Paul was actually saying you were entertaining. He was enjoying your company this evening.
Yes, no, thank you. No, I believe I was entertaining. Like I said, 1 out of 10, maybe like a 6. Look, I was ready to, like, in terms of juiciness, I was ready to go to like a 9 or 10, which is why Santini wanted to get rid of me. Because, like I told you, I would have held the tribe at ransom. They'll burn the place down, man. Everyone would be uncomfortable. You want to get rid of me.
I think at the final, when they do have everything and you guys get together, I think a huge bonfire in his order, and you can lead that bonfire, burn everything down.
100%.
All right, Paul, I'll catch up with you, man. Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you so much, Claudia. And thanks to the TNO team, and thanks to the viewers. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys soon, man. Stay tuned.
Cool. Also, you know what you can say? You can say that TNO is your favorite. You can say that. I'll take that.
TNO is my favorite. How do you do it? Like T? Oh, and this camera's like N. Wait, N. Oh.
There we go. That's the one.
That's fantastic.